And with the news coming down that he's departing from FS1, I have not called him. I'm not going to.
You're not the main attraction, Skip. You were the co-host.
Skip Bayless has a boatload of energy, and Skip Bayless doesn't want to walk away from anything.
So it's only been a few days since we found out that Skip Bayless was no longer going to be with FS1 and Undisputed. And now that the dust has settled a little bit, we got reactions from multiple prominent figures in the industry, including Skip Bayless's ex-partner. So we're here to bring you guys an update, man. Before we get to the content, we're still giving away multiple copies of College Football 25. All you have to do to enter is follow me on Instagram or on Twitter. We've been already announcing many giveaways on both platforms. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's been a very difficult year for Skip Bayless, and in turn for FS1 and in turn Undisputed. Prior to the summer of 2023, or you could even go back sooner, winter of 2023, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe had one of the most popular daily sports debate shows on television. I remember it being part of my routine. I'd wake up, brew myself a cup of coffee, and I'd watch Skip and Shannon debate about the most popular topics in sports, just so I could get an idea of what people might be interested in or what I might be interested in making content for you guys on. And of course, I'm sure you guys know the story at this point. Things were going really well until one particular argument between Skip and Shannon went a little too far.
Glass is back on.
Can I finish?
You disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity. Okay? I'm going to have at it because I'm going to have at you.
And according to Shannon Sharpe, this was the beginning of the end, and the fact that Skip Bayless didn't really handle the Damar Hamlin situation in a way that Shannon Sharpe would appreciate kind of made things even worse between these two. Skip Bayless put out an insensitive tweet. Next thing you know, Shannon Sharpe no-showed an episode of Undisputed, and when he did show up for Undisputed, things were fairly tense between him and Skip.
There's been a lot of speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture, innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go. Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No, clearly the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
Now, of course, this resulted in Shannon Sharpe leaving Undisputed. Skip Bayless set out to do something that he's done 2 other times before. It's kind of like when Kobe and Shaq split up. Shaq was thinking, hey, I made it to the NBA Finals with the Orlando Magic. I won 3 championships with the Lakers. I could probably do this again. I just have to pair with a young and successful guard, and I'll win another championship. And in the case of Shaq, that may have worked out, but in the case of Skip Bayless, he had more of a Kobe Bryant-like career. He was able to capture lightning in the bottle with Shaquille O'Neal, and then later on in his career with Pau Gasol. Sorry, I know a lot of basketball is being discussed here on a football channel. In the case of Skip Bayless, he felt like he was able to succeed the first time around, tabbing Stephen A. Smith as an electric partner to do daily sports debate shows with. And to be honest, he was right, because these two had a specific chemistry that was significantly different than what Skip and Shannon had. And if you guys forgot, well, take a look for yourselves.
You better be careful about what the words that's about to come out of your mouth. Don't be disrespectful. You better be careful. Can't believe the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Wait a second. That's $27 million worth of nothing?
I mean, Stephen A. Smith brought something different to the table. Shannon Sharpe had his own type of charisma that he brought to the table. And ultimately, Skip Bayless would leave ESPN in 2016 to try to capture magic again with Shannon Sharpe, and he succeeded. But when he alienated Shannon Sharpe, he was kind of stuck at this point. Skip Bayless had trouble wrapping his head around the fact that he was no longer the #1 on the team. People weren't really tuning in for Skip Bayless and his trolling of LeBron James. That may have worked in the early days of First Take, but at this point the shtick was getting a little old. They were tuning in for Shannon Sharpe's entertaining, quick wit, charisma, the fact that he would bring Hennessy sometimes to rub in Skip's L's in his face. Sometimes he'd even bring cigars. Shannon Sharpe brought in a level of elegance and flash that Skip Bayless didn't really have. Club Shay Shay was dominating Skip Bayless's podcast. Shannon Sharpe was the next big thing in sports media, so when he left, we said immediately that he was going to be okay. And he ultimately did end up being okay. He doubled down on his podcasting. He made Club Shay Shay, and then he kind of made his own version of Undisputed, where he does Nightcap with Ocho Cinco. And these two are really entertaining, and their YouTube channel grew ridiculously quickly, by the way. But on top of that, he makes regular appearances on First Take. Meanwhile, Skip Bayless's hands were tied. He really didn't know what to do. He had a panel of individuals that he would debate with regularly, but this was executed so poorly. Skip would have people like Rachel Nichols, Richard Sherman, Keyshawn Johnson almost daily, Michael Irvin, Lil Wayne featured every single day on Undisputed, and the worst part of all is they wouldn't let him get a word in.
You don't have time because you guys talk too much, and so I can't. I run out of time here.
I know you just didn't say we talk
I
too
did.
much.
Yes, you talk too much.
Even Stephen A. Smith kind of memed the structure of this show.
Profound love for Skip Bayless. As I'm sure most of you know, we could sit up there and say our brothers from another mother, but it's a little bit different than the love that you have for your brothers of the same ilk. And me, Keyshawn Johnson, and Michael Irvin are just that. You damn trolls out there have acted like I'm supposed to be quaking in my boots because of a new lineup. I don't roll like that. I don't give a shit about competition. I live for it. And as far as I'm concerned, let's get it on.
But this went on for a year, and obviously the ratings just weren't what they once were. And now that Skip Bayless is struggling a little bit, people are really dancing all over the fact that this man is officially done with Undisputed. I mean, look at what Marcellus Wiley said on his YouTube channel.
Because First Take was averaging like 500,000, they say 485, around 500,000 viewers, right? And Undisputed that day got 45,000. Say it again, 500,000 to 45,000. What's so bad about that day? Why is that day sticking out? April 25th? Because that was the first day of the NFL draft. LA, the Lakers had a playoff game. We going into another NFL season. This is the NFL draft, day one. Lead-off show on our network, our flagship show, gets 45,000 viewers for the NFL draft. This decision was not mutual. Do not let them fool you. I know all the reports because people are going to say it different ways. They're going to say he left. They're going to say he fired. It ain't about that. Just know it wasn't mutual because someone has to initiate that call, and someone called that meeting to discuss that revenue you're not producing. So somebody called that meeting, and let's just say it ain't Skip.
And to be fair, I'm not a Skip Bayless diehard fan by any means. I just think that he brought something to the table that was a little different. He wasn't necessarily the type of guy that you went to learn about the nuances of the game. You just watched him because it was a little different. During the time that Skip Bayless started in daily sports debate, you didn't have a glorified troll that was consistently roasting the best player in the NBA. It was like that annoying friend that you had at the school lunch table where everybody would agree that LeBron James was the best basketball player in the NBA or Tom Brady was the best football player in the NFL. And here comes Skip Bayless saying,
LeBron James isn't the best player in the NBA. As a matter of fact, I have an argument that he is the worst player in the NBA.
and you kind of do a spit take. Like, what the hell did you just say? You don't have to agree that he's the best, but you can't say he's the worst. And yes, it was a hot take, but at the time it was new. And in my opinion, it was very entertaining at the very beginning. But of course, it gets kind of old, especially if you don't have someone that you have chemistry with yelling at you back and giving you the appropriate reaction. Like Stephen A. Smith when he does this.
I think he has been.
No, he hasn't.
Against Indiana, he had 5 of his straight.
Or Shannon Sharpe doing this.
You can talk about my followers all you want, but I got the dead to right, and you see how he do America? He talk about my Twitter followers. That's what I know I got it.
But I don't think it's fair to say that this man ruined sports debate. And it wouldn't be just Marcellus Wiley ruthlessly trolling Skip Bayless. Cam Newton would also go on an epic rant on his podcast, 4th and 1 with Cam Newton.
You're not the main attraction, Skip. You were the co-host, being portrayed as if you were bigger, or the real reality was you were the co-host. You embarrassed the man on national television, made him try to feel so small. Put your glasses back on. Like you demonized this man so small, a person who's done so much for the game of football. A Hall of Fame, like it's nothing higher than that. But that's the thing that we've identified about Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless don't like to be challenged. He wants to be the main attraction. You're not the main attraction, bro.
And I do kind of agree with some of the stuff that Cam has said here, because towards the end of their tenure together, like I said before, people were showing up for Shannon Sharpe. They weren't really showing up for Skip Bayless. It's like the Peyton Manning example I gave you guys in the last video. The reason why Peyton Manning won his final Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos was because of the running game and because of the defense. Of course, Peyton Manning still knew how to pick apart the defense and knew what to audible to, and that's what carried their offense, but his arm strength wasn't there anymore. And that's okay, because Skip Bayless was kind of at the same point of his career with Shannon Sharpe. This all brings us to Stephen A. Smith's reaction to Skip Bayless officially parting ways with FS1. And to be honest, I think it was done very elegantly, although it does sound like Stephen A. Smith is giving a eulogy at a funeral. Stephen A. Smith always opens up by showing gratitude for Skip Bayless.
I don't root against my colleagues and contemporaries, and certainly not my friends. I just root for me to be more successful. Being on First Take and wanting to be number one doesn't mean I wanted Skip Bayless to fail. Doesn't mean that I want to see him out of the business and out of the profession. And with the news coming down that he's departing from FS1, I have not called him. I'm not going to, because I know what this moment must be like for him. They can put out all the stories that they want to. Skip Bayless has a boatload of energy, and Skip Bayless doesn't want to walk away from anything. He lives, eats, and breathes sports. I don't know anything. I haven't called and asked anybody anything. What I know is that there is no way on earth that I can imagine him walking away.
That opening is something that obviously Stephen A. Smith would know more about than I would, because in our last video, I speculated that Skip Bayless has been doing this for 40 years, man. Like, if you guys remember, we have very old footage of him when he was doing this in the 80s.
I feel like I'm the most hated guy in town. Now I can't go back to the morning news for fear of being gunned down by the guards.
So to imagine that Skip Bayless would want to continue doing this until his 80s is kind of crazy. The man was getting paid $8 million a year annually. I mean, at a specific point, just retire and go enjoy yourself. I mean, if you don't know what else to do with yourself, that's a different story. But at the same time, you've been doing this for so long. You want to start anew? You want to go to First Take and try to debate with Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith? It just doesn't make sense to me.
There's a lot of positive things going on in my career, the place that I'm in. Skip Bayless has a lot to do with that. Who knows where I'd be had he not put me. Yes, we catapulted and we elevated and we became number one together, and that's true. But it doesn't happen if he doesn't push to make it happen. I'm not going to speak for Shannon Sharpe. He can do that on his own. But I will quote him and what he has said to me on numerous occasions. No matter what happened with him and Skip Bayless, he's not going to let 6 years be ruined by 6 months.
I have a lot of appreciation for Stephen A. Smith handling this in the way he decided to handle it, because a lot of people would just focus on the final years where things went apart between two partners. And again, man, it's like a relationship. When you're seeing each other each and every day, you have to deal with each other's personalities each and every day, and people are significantly different. So working with a particular person who's a specific way each and every single day could be a little challenging. But at the end of the day, there's no question about it. There wouldn't be a Stephen A. Smith and there wouldn't be a Shannon Sharpe, or at least they wouldn't have gotten to this point this quickly if Skip Bayless didn't introduce them to the world. Currently, as it stands, ESPN doesn't seem interested in bringing Skip Bayless on. We have yet to receive a statement from Shannon Sharpe on the situation, and we have yet to hear anything from Skip Bayless himself. The moment I find out, I'm going to bring you guys an update. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think Skip should do next? I personally think that he should retire and just go enjoy his final years traveling the world or something, because the man has done this for 40 years. He's had a successful career, whether you like him or not. And I know a lot of people are celebrating the fact that he's out at Fox Sports, but personally, I think he was very successful in what he did. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. Aside from that, I don't know if you guys heard, Caleb Williams is making things a little complicated for the Chicago Bears. We just uploaded a video on that. I'll leave it in the end screen in front of you. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.